Did you know that every handful of nuts you eat each day could quietly affect your blood pressure, heart rate, and even lead to ongoing fatigue? A study from Harvard University found that nearly 40% of people over the age of 60 experience heart complications from eating the wrong kinds of foods they once thought were heart healthy. And most of them never realize the real cause lies right in their daily meals. We often believe that almonds, walnuts, flaxseeds, and others are nutritious foods. But if eaten the wrong way, in excess, or combined with certain medications, they can lead to kidney problems, irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, or even internal bleeding. I understand. You have worked hard to live a healthy life. But after 60, your heart needs a different kind of care. In this video, I will reveal 9 common types of nuts that are silently harming the heart health of older adults, along with simple but powerful solutions. If you are over 60, please watch this video until the end. It could help you live longer and stay healthier every single day. What country are you watching from? Leave a comment below so we can share together. 1. Raw almonds. Almonds have long been considered one of the most heart-friendly nuts, often recommended in healthy diets. But for people over the age of 60, raw almonds can become a burden on the kidneys, which in turn can negatively affect the heart. It may sound surprising, but the body after 60 does not process food the same way it did when you were younger. According to research from Harvard Health Publishing, raw almonds contain high levels of oxalates, which are natural compounds that can build up in the kidneys. In younger individuals with strong kidney function, oxalates are filtered out effectively. But after the age of 60, especially if you are taking blood pressure medication or blood thinners, kidney function may decline, causing oxalates to accumulate, leading to inflammation, fluid retention, higher blood pressure, and overworking the heart. I will never forget Mr. Paul Jensen, a 71-year-old retired postal worker living in Indiana. He came in for a checkup, complaining of ongoing fatigue, swollen legs, and shortness of breath. He was proud of having cut out red meat for 5 years, walked every morning, and replaced pastries with almonds. But when we ran tests, his blood creatinine levels were high, a clear sign of declining kidney function. The cause turned out to be the 2 handfuls of raw almonds he was eating every day. The nut he believed was heart healthy was actually overwhelming his kidneys and dragging his heart into a cycle of pressure. We advised him to switch to blanched almonds that had been soaked overnight, to eat them in moderation, and to drink plenty of water when consuming them. After 6 weeks, his blood pressure stabilized, his kidney levels improved, and he felt much better. The message here is clear for seniors. Raw almonds are not as harmless as they may seem. Your body does not need more. It needs what is right. 2. Salted roasted cashews. Salted roasted cashews are rich, creamy, and delightfully crunchy. For many older adults, they seem like the perfect afternoon snack, replacing cookies or chips. But few people realize that just 1 handful of salted roasted cashews can contain up to 300 milligrams of sodium, which is about the same amount of salt as a packet of instant noodles. After the age of 60, the kidneys are no longer able to eliminate salt efficiently. This leads to fluid retention, increased blood volume, and forces the heart to pump harder to maintain circulation, eventually causing chronic high blood pressure and long-term fatigue. A study from the American Institute of Clinical Nutrition emphasized that people over 65 should consume no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. Yet many seniors exceed this limit just from seemingly harmless snacks. I still remember the case of Mr. Everett, a 77-year-old retired state police officer from Indiana. He came in for a checkup complaining of frequent chest tightness in the late afternoon. His blood pressure had reached 168/98, even though he was taking his medication regularly. When asked about his diet, he said he had cut out canned foods and never added salt when cooking. However, he had a habit of eating salted roasted cashews every afternoon. Even though it was only 2 small handfuls, the total sodium he was consuming each week added up to thousands of milligrams, which made his blood pressure medication less effective and placed too much strain on his heart. We replaced the cashews with unsalted pistachios, kept the portions controlled, and always paired them with a small glass of water. After just 4 weeks, his blood pressure dropped significantly. He felt more alert, and the chest tightness was gone. This is not an isolated case. It is a clear warning for all of us. After the age of 60, your heart is no longer strong enough to be surprised by hidden salt in every handful of nuts. And if salt is already dangerous, what could be more alarming than a nut that is praised for brain health but may disrupt your heart rhythm? 3. Walnuts. Walnuts have long been praised for their memory-boosting benefits, especially because of their plant-based omega-3s that help reduce inflammation and support brain function. But what people rarely mention is that eating too many walnuts can disrupt the autonomic nervous system and trigger irregular heart rhythms, especially in older adults. After the age of 60, your nervous system and heart rate become more sensitive and easily affected. An excess of plant-based omega-3s, particularly when combined with heart medications, can cause a racing heartbeat, palpitations, or dizziness. I once met Mr. Calvin D., a 74-year-old retiree living in Colorado Springs. He came in for a checkup because he felt like his heart was pounding like it was dancing in the evening. Interestingly, he did not drink coffee, did not smoke, and walked every morning. When we asked more closely about his habits, he said he was very fond of walnuts because he feared memory loss and had been eating up to 20 pieces a day, adding them to cereal, smoothies, and salads. We had him wear a 48-hour heart monitor and found several episodes of premature ventricular contractions and irregular heart rhythms. These were not immediately dangerous, but they clearly showed that his heart was being overstimulated. As soon as he cut down to just 2 walnut halves per day, eaten with lunch instead of spread throughout the day, within 2 weeks, the arrhythmia improved. He slept more deeply, and he no longer felt his heart skipping beats. What he said stayed with me. My memory is still fine, but my heart nearly gave out from too many walnuts. After the age of 60, your heart does not need high doses of superfoods. It needs balance and precision. 4. Flaxseeds. Flaxseeds are often praised as a heart superfood because they contain ALA, a plant-based form of omega-3 that helps lower cholesterol. However, few people know that ALA also has a blood-thinning effect when combined with anticoagulant medications such as aspirin, warfarin, or clopidogrel. The risk of internal bleeding increases significantly, especially in older adults. After the age of 60, blood vessels become more fragile, and both the liver and kidneys slow down, making the blood-thinning effects last longer and harder to control. If you are not careful, you may develop anemia or internal bleeding without even realizing it. I once treated Mrs. Darlene, a 76-year-old retired teacher from New York. She was admitted to the hospital for dizziness and prolonged fatigue. Tests showed her blood clotting levels were too low, with signs of mild internal bleeding. She had not changed her medication, but she had started adding 1 tablespoon of flax seeds to her morning porridge, following her daughter's advice. The combination of flax seeds and aspirin was what made her blood too thin. After stopping the flax seeds and adjusting her diet, her health stabilized in just 10 days. The lesson here is clear. While flax seeds have benefits, they are not suitable for everyone, especially if you are taking heart medications. Before adding any new food to your breakfast, talk to your doctor. Sometimes, what seems helpful could be the risk you did not expect. 5. Nut butters. Many older adults choose peanut butter, almond butter, or cashew butter as a replacement for ice cream or pastries, believing these are healthier snack options. However, most nut butters available on the market today contain refined sugar, salt, palm oil, or hydrogenated soybean oil, which nearly cancel out their heart protective benefits. For younger people, these ingredients may not make a big difference, but after the age of 60, they can easily raise bad cholesterol, cause blood vessel inflammation, and overwork the heart. I once treated Mr. Harold T., a 79-year-old man living in Illinois, after his wife passed away. He lived a disciplined lifestyle. He ate carefully, avoided red meat, and did not eat fried foods. Yet he often felt tired, experienced chest tightness, and had shortness of breath. When tested, his LDL cholesterol and inflammation markers were both elevated. Eventually, we discovered that he had replaced ice cream and pastries with peanut butter. But it was the creamy type that contained added sugar, salt, and vegetable oil. He often ate it directly from the jar or spread it on bread each day. He was consuming nearly 400 milligrams of sodium and over 8 grams of sugar just from the nut butter, not to mention the saturated fat. After switching to 100% pure peanut butter, using only 1 tablespoon per day paired with apple slices or whole grain crackers, his cholesterol levels dropped significantly within 6 weeks. He told me, "I never thought my ice cream substitute would tire my heart more than actual sweets." The message is very clear. Natural does not always mean safe, and nut butter is not always a heart-healthy food, especially when it contains hidden additives. 6. Trail mix. Trail mix, a blend of nuts and dried fruits, is often sold in packages labeled heart-healthy, snack, or natural energy, leading many older adults to believe it is an ideal midday treat. In reality, most commercial trail mix products contain added sugars, syrup-coated fruits, processed chocolate, and salted roasted nuts, turning this so-called healthy snack into a hidden bomb of calories, sugar, and sodium. After the age of 60, the body can no longer process sugar and salt as efficiently as before. Blood sugar regulation slows down, blood vessels become more fragile, and the heart must work harder to compensate for blood pressure imbalances. A study from Tufts University showed that adults over 65 who consume more than 15 grams of added sugar per day have a 27% higher risk of developing high blood pressure and vascular inflammation. I once treated Mrs. Carol B., an 81-year-old former nurse living in North Carolina. She came in feeling tired, had mild swelling in her legs, and her blood pressure measured 162/96. Her main diet was quite healthy. She avoided salty foods, ate plenty of leafy greens, and limited red meat. But when we looked into her snacking habits, she mentioned eating trail mix several times a day to keep up her energy. The packaging said, "heart healthy," so she had no reason to doubt it. But each handful gave her 250 calories, over 15 grams of sugar, and 200 milligrams of sodium, placing extra strain on her heart and disrupting her glucose metabolism. We replaced it with unsalted almonds, unsweetened dried cranberries, and raw pumpkin seeds, all pre-portioned to a quarter cup per day. After 2 months, the leg swelling went down, her blood pressure stabilized, and she no longer felt ongoing fatigue. The lesson is simple. An aging heart does not need quick energy. It needs slow, steady fuel that does not burden your metabolism. 7. Pistachios. Pistachios are a popular snack among older adults thanks to their rich, nutty taste, enjoyable crunch, and reputation for being high in fiber and good for cholesterol. But did you know that eating too many pistachios can slow down digestion and interfere with the absorption of heart medications, especially those that need to enter the bloodstream at the right time, such as blood pressure or heart rhythm drugs? Pistachios are high in insoluble fiber and phytosterols. These two components can be beneficial in the right amount, but when consumed in excess, they slow stomach emptying and reduce how well the intestines absorb medication. This leads to the medication not working properly when needed. After the age of 60, digestion naturally slows down. When it is further delayed by fiber-heavy foods, the effectiveness of heart medications becomes unpredictable. I once treated Mr. Joseph L., an 82-year-old retired saxophone player from New Orleans. He was experiencing blood pressure spikes and drops, along with occasional dizziness, even though he was taking his medication regularly and living a balanced lifestyle. Tests showed that the medication was not working as expected. Eventually, we discovered he was eating 2 to 3 handfuls of pistachios every evening as a dessert alternative to sweets. That large amount of insoluble fiber was delaying the medication's absorption into his bloodstream, throwing off its timing and leaving his heart confused by each dose. We advised him to reduce his intake to just 10 to 12 pistachios, eaten only at lunch, and to completely avoid them in the evening. We also reminded him to take his medication well away from meals that are high in fat or fiber. After 3 weeks, his blood pressure stabilized, and he happily said, "I thought swapping dessert for nuts was healthy. I didn't know doing it the wrong way could cause harm." The message is clear. After the age of 60, it is not just what you eat, but when and how much you eat that matters just as much as the medication itself. 8. Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are praised for being rich in selenium and healthy fats, but for people over the age of 60, just 2 to 3 nuts per day can exceed the safe limit and increase the risk of irregular heartbeat and kidney strain. Brazil nuts are extremely dense. Each nut contains nearly 100% of the recommended daily intake of selenium, along with as much potassium as half a banana. For younger individuals, the body can regulate these levels, but in older adults, kidney function slows down, causing selenium and potassium to build up, which can upset the electrolyte balance and lead to heart rhythm problems or high blood pressure. I once treated Mrs. Eileen, an 84-year-old retired nurse living in Ohio. She appeared healthy and had no obvious symptoms besides mild fatigue, but lab tests showed high potassium levels in her blood and her EKG revealed irregular patterns. When we asked in detail, she told us that every morning she drank tea with 3 Brazil nuts for energy. No one had told her that these nuts, when combined with blood pressure medication, could cause an interaction that affects the heart without any clear warning signs. We asked her to stop eating them immediately. 2 weeks later, her test results returned to normal. Her heart rhythm stabilized, and her blood pressure was under control. After the age of 60, precision becomes essential. A nutrient-rich nut is not the same as a safe nut, and if just a few Brazil nuts can trigger imbalances, you should be even more cautious with mixed nut blends, where hidden ingredients can silently add up and increase your heart risks. 9. Commercial mixed nuts. Many older adults choose mixed nuts as a replacement for candy or sweets, believing they are a natural, heart-healthy snack. However, most packaged mixed nuts on the market contain salt, processed vegetable oils, and oxidized fats, factors that silently harm your blood pressure, blood vessels, and weight. Many varieties of mixed nuts contain a high proportion of peanuts, which are technically not nuts and are high in omega-6 fats that can cause inflammation when consumed in large amounts. In addition, the roasting process often involves high heat, which can alter the fats and increase the risk of arterial plaque buildup. A small serving may contain more than 180 calories and 200 milligrams of sodium, and you might eat 2 to 3 times that amount without realizing it. Mr. Ron, a 78-year-old veteran living in Arizona, is a perfect example. He followed a healthy diet, avoided red meat, and exercised regularly, but his blood pressure remained high. When we investigated, we found that each evening he was eating a handful of lightly salted mixed nuts, thinking it was a healthy choice. In reality, it was a source of hidden sodium and bad fats that placed too much strain on his heart. After switching to unsalted mixed nuts, portioned to a quarter cup per day, his condition improved noticeably within a few weeks. The takeaway is simple: not all nuts are good for you, and just because something is labeled natural does not mean it is truly heart-friendly. After the age of 60, nuts should no longer be treated as casual snacks. They should be viewed as part of your nutritional treatment plan. Instead of eating out of habit, eat in a way that meets your body's needs with the right type, the right amount, and at the right time, each day. Just a small amount of plain, unsalted, and unsweetened nuts, eaten with a main meal, can help stabilize energy levels and support heart health. For example, 5 to 7 soaked almonds, 2 walnut halves, or 10 to 12 unsalted pistachios eaten at lunchtime, along with enough water, can make a difference. Avoid eating nuts in the evening or on an empty stomach. As this can cause digestive issues and affect your sleep, never consume pre-mixed nuts, flavored nut butters, or commercial seasoned nuts without carefully reading the label. And if you are taking heart or blood pressure medication, always talk to your doctor before adding nuts to your diet. Healthy nuts do not mean all nuts are good for you. What matters most is eating the right amount with awareness and understanding. We have just gone through 9 familiar types of nuts that may silently harm your heart if used incorrectly after the age of 60. From raw almonds that are too high in oxalates, to salted cashews loaded with sodium, to walnuts that can disrupt heart rhythm. If consumed in excess, each nut has its benefits, but also carries risks if you do not consider your current health. Medications, and the natural limits of an aging body. The message here is not to avoid nuts entirely, but to eat them with awareness. After 60, your body does not need more. It needs precision. A few nuts, when chosen carefully, timed correctly, and prepared properly, can support heart health, reduce inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and even lift your mood. But if eaten the wrong way, nuts can be a hidden cause of high blood pressure, swelling, irregular heartbeat, or reduced effectiveness of your medication. So, starting today, take a fresh look at the jar of nuts in your home. Read the ingredient labels carefully. Remove any that contain salt, sugar, or processed oils. Divide your daily portion into smaller servings. Eat them with main meals. Drink enough water. And if you are taking heart medication, talk to your doctor before making changes. Sometimes. A small habit change, like switching from peanut butter to soaked almonds, can help your heart beat more gently each day. That is not just a change in your diet. It is a choice for your longevity, your quality of life, and for yourself.